So there's two sides of sales. Number one, people are absolutely attracted to it for the upside potential, be able to control the income and have awesome commissions and upside potential on top of their salary. And the opposite side is, I don't want to get involved in sales. Sales not for me, etc. Stereotypes that are associated with being involved in sales. And there's so many folks that are misguided about sales, misguided about how to build a sales team, how to grow in this career. Because a guy like me with no college degree, a 2.2 GPA, once I learned the field of sales, I'm thankful and grateful somebody taught me the field of sales, because it's absolutely changed my life. And I feel that if you're looking in the field of sales, you look in the field of business, that you're looking for a way to have control and have autonomy in your life, that build something that create wealth that we can pass on from one generation to another, well, you got to get involved in some form of sales. So in this episode, we're going to discuss it. 5 untold truths about building a sales team, starting in 3, 2, 1. Let's go.
Let's get this money. Euros, dollar bills, getting this on out of here. Let's get this money. 1 yen, better know I'm on it.
What's cracking, everybody? Money Smart Guy, Matt Spaula here, hailing to you from Dallas, Texas, and I'm excited about this because I wish I had someone tell me these 5 untold truths when I first started my sales career, building a sales team. Now, before we get started, there's some couple things that you have to understand as an evolution of a salesperson. So there's number 1, you become a salesperson. Number 2, become a sales leader. Number 3, become a business owner. And number 4, you become a CEO. Just because you started a business, you put on a business card, bam, I'm a CEO, I'm a business owner, doesn't necessarily mean you're a CEO or a business owner. You just have Vistaprint printed out for you for $99 for a box of 1,000 cards. But you have to evolve to show up on how to be a salesperson. And usually when people say, well, Matt, what causes a company to fail? What caused a company to go out of business? They had great intentions, they had great product and great services. What made them fail? 3 reasons why companies go out of business. Number 1, sales, lack of revenue, lack of activity. Number 2, leadership, a lack of talent or personal development. Number 3, foundation, a lack of systems, values, and skills. If you assess your business, you assess your team, if you are lacking one of these areas, have a leak, these are areas that we need to shore up for you, so therefore you can have a successful shot at staying in business for the long term. Now I'll say this, just because you're good in sales doesn't necessarily mean you're gonna build a good sales team. Sometimes a lot of guys are very good at dealing with themselves. They work with their own numbers, they work with their own hands, they work with their own quota, they work with their own networks and contacts. Awesome. Being a sales leader in terms of driving other people for success, you're leading an organization to create a department or to create a company, that's a different skill set. So when I was an independent salesperson, I was that person for 12 years. I was out there selling policies, life, health, annuity, long-term care, etc. I was a very good salesperson. Now I made a very good living, especially being a single father of 3 kids without a college degree. Somebody taught me the field of sales and introduced me to the world of entrepreneurship in the insurance industry. And I was ranking in about $300,000, $350,000 a year. But I had to spend an overwhelming amount of money for leads and marketing efforts. So therefore I have people to talk to at my dinner seminars on a monthly basis. So therefore I have somebody to sell. Once somebody started asking me, hey, Matt, how do I do what you do? I like the life you live in, I like the cars you drive, I like the neighborhood you live in, I like the schools you put your kids in, I like the restaurants you go to. How can you teach me how to do what you do? I'm like, I don't know. I don't know how to recruit anybody. I don't know how to train anybody. I don't even know where you get licensed here in Illinois because I got my license in California. Bro, I don't even know the first step. So sadly, brother, I can't help you right now. I got another seminar to do. It dawned on me that the person was asking me for an economic shot at changing his own life. So when I looked at that, you know what? Not only can I teach other people how to do what I do, but if I can have a little bit of peace of mind, have a little bit of autonomy, have a little bit more control, have a little bit more peace of mind knowing that if I don't sell something, if I don't have to be perfect today or this week or this month or this year, and I don't sell something or I hit my quota, I can still pay my bills, still live the life I want. I can still be running my business instead of my business running me. That meant for me to evolve from a salesperson to become a sales leader. And that's a different conversation when you're growing, teaching, coaching, developing other people versus managing your own book of business. However, when I started becoming a sales leader, not only did I find it exciting because, I'm a sports guy, I'm a military guy, I realized there's 2 different type of personalities, which may not be you. You might be better just not watching this video because you're better off as a salesperson. But if you want to scale and grow and create an asset that you can transfer or sell one day, then this video is for you to watch and digest. Because the different personalities, one is a sniper, me, myself, and I, 1 shot, 1 kill. I take care of my quota, I'm done for the day. Or a sales leader has more of a platoon leader mentality and attitude where he's not only responsible for his own actions, but but responsible for the actions and the development of other people. John Maxwell says it best: leadership is nothing more than influence. My mentor, Coach Patrick McDavid, says leadership is helping people do things they otherwise would not have done themselves. And the excitement about being a sales leader for me is that not only can I teach other people how to do what I've done, but I can start changing that person's life. Like, there's a purpose behind me being a sales leader, becoming a business owner, becoming a CEO. I love seeing people take charge of their finances, take charge of their actions, take charge of their attitude, take charge of their disposition, and have an attitude of gratitude, being thankful and grateful for everything they got going on in life, because that's really the attitude you need as a sales leader. And they embody that into the product and service in the company or the department. And guess what? Boom! These guys take off. Recently, we just promoted a guy named Chris Hart. We promoted here in our company. He just crossed $1 million of cash flow. Super proud of him. Doesn't have a background in sales. He's an Apple executive. Doesn't have a college degree. He relocates from the West Coast to the East Coast. And next thing you know, boom. In 2019, he was making $250,000 a year. 4 or 5 years later, he's making $1 million a year. Why? Because he learned how to scale and build a sales team. So that's the conversation we're having with you today. Do you want to be more of a sniper, one-man operation, or do you want to build a sales team? Passive income, override, autonomy, helping other people, changing people's lives. Which one is more of your cup of tea? So let's get into the 5 untold truths about building a sales team. Let's get into it. Number 1, volume is your friend. Just as it was being a salesperson, being a sales leader, teaching guys how to do what you do, one thing you'll find out is that if you thought you were bad being a salesperson, you're going to find those same bad habits in a lot of people, and unlearning some of the things that they were doing in terms of being, if they don't come from a background in sales, and just, for example, they were a manager at a restaurant, or they're in the military, or they're in sports, and they're not used to seeing and talking to a lot of people. Well, get used to it. Just like you guys used to talk to a lot of people in sales, being a sales leader in charge of people, it's the same thing, but at 10, 15, 100 times more, because a lot more volume is necessary to run a sales force. So 3 different types of players you're going to run into on your sales team. Number 1, you're going to have your superstar. Wow. He's going to be your slam dunk champion, your home run derby hitter. He's got the skills. He's got the look. He's got the pizzazz. He's got the attitude. That guy is your superstar, right? He's going to close deals. He's going to hit quota. He's going to be the one driving a Cadillac, driving a Mercedes-Benz, driving the Rolls. That's going to be your stud, right? That's one of the guys you're going to have on your sales team. Some people may not be a superstar. They'll be part of your starting 5, working together with the superstar of your sales team. So superstar, number 2, sales team being your starting 5. And number 3, you got your bench players. They come in for a role. They're not going to play the entire game. Once in a while, they close a deal. Takes you guys over quota as a company, as a division. And you never thought that an alley-oop would come from them. Well, those are your bench players. So I don't know about you and how you run your sales team, but the sales team I've ran throughout my 25-year career are 100% independent contractors. Whatever they bring in, they take home. I'm not here to provide leads. We're here to show systems, which we'll get here into a second. But as a sales leader, we help people get into the position of being who they want to be. And if they think this is for them, awesome. If it's not, well, the numbers are going to show them that. And we're not in a position of hiring and firing a lot of people. We show people, listen, if you think you're a hot shot, come in here, be a hot shot. You want to be a hot shot? You thought you were a stud in whatever career profession you were in before this company in sales? Awesome. Prove how good you are on our platform. That's how our office turns into a locker room. A lot of competition, a lot of fun, a lot of excitement, a lot of diversity, not only in ethnicity, but a lot of diversity in career background. But at the end of the day, do you perform? A sales leader will get the best out of his people. With that being said, you got to make sure that volume is your friend, because sometimes a lot of people in that sales team, they're not talking to a lot of people. They're not shaking a lot of hands. They're not making a lot of contacts. And I'll say this too as well. You can't expect everyone to be performing at the same level. You're going to have different quotas. You know, if you launch a contest, certain guys are always going to hit it, right? But not everybody's going to perform at the same level. You have to create an environment for people to want to grow and develop, to increase your attention. So therefore, they're not having a revolving door at your company. If they want to take off because it's not for them, cool, no problem. It's not because you didn't buy into the volume side of business. They quit or they leave your team because they didn't buy into volume. So it starts from the top. You got to show them, listen, if you want to be successful in business, you can't be thinking that you're going to step to the free throw line every time, and out of 10 free throws, you're 10 out of 10. Well, that might be true, but get to 100. Are you 100 out of 100? I bet you're not. I bet your probability to hit a perfect shot is very low. So you have to have volume to have peace of mind for yourself as a sales leader and peace of mind for your sales guys to make sure that they go through the numbers. Focus your attention on the few. Not everybody's going to be that person, and there are superstars that create competition between them. Like I love having my starting five or my bench players have competition to compete whoever the superstars they think they are. You got to create an environment where through volume, people are competing, people are getting after it, people are talking smack to one another in a good, healthy way. That's how you're going to build a sales team, a culture that is trumping talent all day long. And number two, it ties right into it. The law of probability, the game of numbers is your saving grace. And by the way, I want to make a book recommendation by Nick Murray. Please consider reading this book. If I had this book at the beginning of my career, I would have looked at sales. I would look at sales leadership. I looked at the industry that I'm in completely different. I love how Nick Murray puts it in his book here. By the way, it's not a cheap book. I think it's by limited print, but you can find it on Amazon. You may not be able to find it new, but you can find a bunch of copies used. But Game of Numbers is a book recommendation for you to consider. But salespeople just don't have enough business conversations. Salespeople just don't have enough interactions with the potential target market. Now, you can cold call all day long, and some of you guys make a living on cold calls. But the way we built our 50,000 life insurance agent insurance company is zero cold calls. We're in the referral market all day long. And I'll talk about that in a second. But when you're talking about one person on your sales team, they talk to that person one time. That's not enough. There's not enough nurturing conversation, text message, email. There's got to be an omnipresent form of social media and internet presence and email, in addition to phone calls, that they're constantly around their potential market. So have the law of probability, have the law of being omnipresent, being everywhere to your potential customer, to your target market. Have that opportunity there, because what's easier to do for your sales team? Your sales team every day getting busy because they're making phone calls, or part of those phone calls is because 10, 15, 20 people a day are reaching back out to them because of their presence on social media. And the social media content is creating a library of content that before people pick up the phone to call you, they're getting research, they're going down the rabbit hole of your sales associates' contacts. Maybe you as a sales leader, you got your own social media page and your own brand. And if you look no further than an example of Elon Musk has his own personal brand as well as building the brand of his companies. So there's really two brands that you're building in today's day and age, and allowing social media to educate people about who you are, what you do, who you're helping, what products and services you're offering through your social media content, allowing more of a law of probability and contacts and communication of your product, service, and offerings for your salespeople to discuss in their contacts with your target market. Now, when we're recruiting salespeople, and as a sales leader, you got to be constantly recruiting salespeople. You can't be the same people all day, every month. You have to include new talent, in my opinion, on a monthly basis. New talent, new skills, new ability. Why? Because some people, you're right, they may not be cracked up for the field of business, for the field of sales. And this may not be them. You're going to have confidence as a sales leader. Make sure you have new talent, new interviews, new presentation, that you're attracting people to your company to replace people that fall out. This may not be for them. And you have to understand, in my opinion, recruitment of agents, of associates, your sales associates, 90% why and 10% how. Let me repeat that one more time. The way you recruit people is 90% why and 10% how. So a lot of people are technical, right? Like, I want to do this. How do you do that? Understand. I'm going to give you compensation, how we get business, our unique selling proposition, our flagship product. No problem. I'll get that knocked out. But the reason why you want to be a player over here at this company, in our industry, in our field, is because what's the benefit? What's the benefit? For example, we just went through an election, right? What's the benefit of people voting for Kamala or voting for Trump? Obviously, a lot more people felt the benefit of having Trump at the helm as a president of the United States than they did with Kamala. He was selling the benefit. He constantly, by the way, I'm not saying this is a Republican message or a Democrat message or a political message altogether. I'm just saying that if you have a message, a core, guess what you got to do? Constantly repeat it over and over and over again. Always keep this in mind. The higher the contacts and the connections, the higher the probability they're doing business with you, becoming successful with you. Your sales agent will be retained by you. Always buy into high numbers, high volume. Number 1 and 2 is so important. I wish somebody told me this when I first started being on a sales team years ago. Number 3, systems, not slogans. Everything's got to be systematized. And that's very hard for many of us who are A personality types, action-oriented types. Bing, 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 you're zigging and zagging like Sonic the Hedgehog. But in order for you to be effective as a sales leader, you have to be organized through manuals. By the way, everything we do is manuals, scripts, presentations, follow-ups, how to run events. We run 2 major events every year. It's all on manuals. So therefore, it's systematized. It can be duplicated. You can hire and fire. How to do small local events, networking, referrals, marketing, follow-up, nurture sequences. Everything has to be systematized, not just winging it. And on top of that, that makes you predictable. If you want to have predictable outcomes for your place in business, you have to have consistent systems for your people to follow. Inside our office, once a week, we get together with our sales guys. 4 things, our KPIs, key performance indicators, right? Here are 4 things that you need to get done to create these 4 results. And that can be different for your industry. Whatever it is that you're just related. It could be 1 thing, it could be 2 things, it could be 3 things. For us, it's 4. Here are 4 activities that lead to 4 different tangible results that drive revenue for the company. That put money in people's pockets. That our clients are served and helped through the product and services that we offer. Those all have to be systematized. And again, we have a playbook for everything. We have a playbook that everyone has access to and everybody's quizzed on. Playbook, systematized, so therefore you can optimize. Number 4, capitalism over favoritism. Now, this is where the rubber meets the road and a lot of people's feelings get hurt. Because a lot of people love it when they're getting recognized. A lot of people love it when they're getting the big commission checks. A lot of people love it when they're crossing the stage, getting their awards. But when they're losing, they're in a bad streak. They're not having the success they did a month ago, a quarter ago, a year ago. Well, you always have to run your business, in my opinion. I could be wrong about this, but this has been success for us for the last 9 going on 10 years now. It's capitalism over favoritism, which means that everybody can be called out. Everybody can be called up. Everybody's low performance and attitude and behavior needs to be communicated where everybody knows where they're falling short because everybody is not pushing the growth of the company. And that's what you need from your sales team, is to make sure that everybody's doing their part to make sure the department is successful, because without that sales team, guess what? The rest of the company doesn't function. Sales and revenue to a business is like blood in your body. If you don't have any blood in your body because there's not enough sales, well, guess what? I don't care how strong you think you are, how many muscles you got, when your big heart, big lungs, whatever. If you don't have any blood in your body, you're not living. You're not breathing. 0 chance. And so when you're looking at capitalism over favoritism, oftentimes you as a sales leader, you as a manager, create friendships because you're in the sales, you're in the pits, you're in the trenches with these guys and earning every bit of revenue and earning every bit of client contacts, etc. But sometimes guys will lean on you. Hey man, listen man, I came short of my numbers, man, but we still pay me my bonus. No, bro, I can't do that. Did you hit the numbers? If it's not numbers based, if it's not data driven, don't even bother because they're compromising their friendship now. They're asking you for a favor, and that's not a favor that you can extend. Now, you may do that, and guess what? If you do it for one person, you got to do it for everyone. And if you want to do it for everyone, then don't do it for anyone. So how does your salespeople spend your time? You know, there's a gap schedule, a gap graph we use. Let's take a look at this gap graph here. It says, what is your gap? So if you want to be part of the 80%, you see where everybody's at. See that line? 80% line. Boom. But if you want to be part of the top 20%, top 10%, top 1%, the guys at the top, they're not too high in their highs, they're not too low in their lows. And here's the thing too as well, in this graph. At any given point, there's a moment in time during that year where everybody's performing at their peak and everybody's pretty much similar in this gap graph. But what happens after a month? What happens after they get the big commission check? What happens next quarter, next month? You see some stay consistent. The 1% stays consistent. They are professionals. They're going to show up no matter what because they're driven more than by just money. They're driven by pride. They're driven by advancement. They're driven by madness. They're driven by history. Some people are just driven by money. And the best of the best will constantly perform at a consistent level over an extended period of time until the job gets done. Some people in sales go up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. And you as a sales leader, guess what you got to coach? Guess what you got to help people do? Help people convince them. It says, you want to be part of the 80%? Then you get 8% cash flow. You get 8% revenue. You get 8% lifestyle. You want to be top 10%, top 20%, top 1%? You want to be top 1% of the income earners of our company, the 1% income earners of our industry, 1% income earners of America? Well, this is what they do. Boom, boom, boom. What do you want to do? Do you want to be a professional? Do you want to be a guy that's in business for 8 out of the 12 months, 10 out of 12 months? Or you want to be a guy on our sales team? It's going to be boom, week in, week out, boom. You're just as consistent and observant as I come into the office, as I see you making calls, as I see that furniture, that reception, you're just as consistent and available and accessible as this furniture is. You're constantly there. You're constantly working. You're constantly putting in the grind. See, capitalism, the only thing about capitalism, free to buy, free to sell, free to win, free to fail. Now, here's the part that a lot of people don't like about capitalism. It's that failure part, that setback part. You as a sales leader, you have to have the strength of character, the backbone to say, you know what? You and I are friends, buddies, associates, but right now I need to call you out on your numbers because this ain't cutting it, bro. And not only is it cutting it for us, but bro, you got a wife and kids, or you got a husband and a family you got to provide for. What are you going to do? What's your gap? And a lot of salespeople, sadly, are very undisciplined. That's why I love sales so much. That's why I love sales. Sales is a perfect way to test whether or not you're good enough. If you're not good enough, what are you going to do? You're going to get better or you're going to get bitter. More people, 80%, 90% of people get bitter. Very few people ever get better. You know why? Because it's not easy. You know why? Because it's annoying. But if you want to be a top 1%, you want to be that superstar in the team, you just don't want to be part of the starting five, you just want to be a bench player, you want to be that superstar, well, guess what? What's your gap? Matter of fact, right now, what do you want to be? Put it in the comment section below. Are you the top 1%er, top 10%er, are you a 20%er, or an 80%er? Put it in the comment section below. Last point, set, raise, and compound standards. You have to have an active leaders bulletin that everybody is aware of, that they are paranoid if they don't check the scoreboard. They're paranoid they don't see their name ranked in the organization compared to their peers. It's got to matter to them. You got to have a monthly contest, a quarterly contest, and a yearly contest. Something that is driving initiatives week in, week out, month in, month out, so keeps people accountable, not to necessarily you, but as a tool and as a benchmark for you as a sales leader. You're using this contest to drive people, to keep people accountable to. So therefore, when they accomplish it, when they win the sales contest on a monthly, quarterly, or annual basis, or all three of them, but they're a trifecta, a lot of pride. Legends are established. People sit in the Hall of Fame because of what they've done over a consistent period of time, over years, decades even. One thing that's helped us out a lot too as well, we just came back from a trip in Quebec City, which is company trips. Maybe once a year or twice a year, you take out a local trip with your guys, or you go on we've been on cruises, you've been on international trips. These are great bonding experiences for your sales guys, that there's a benefit for them not only to sell through your company, there's a benefit to not get out the park because of their friendship relationship with you and the experience that can expand their horizons by having a trip of a lifetime. And think about this too as well. A lot of kids growing up, they don't necessarily remember the gifts, the presents that they got under the Christmas tree. But a lot of kids, guess what they remember? A lot of us as adults, what do we remember? Remember experiences. If I'm talking about prom, you may not necessarily remember the boutonniere you wore, the flower you gave, the corsage you gave, but you're going to remember prom night. You may not remember necessarily your details of boot camp, but you remember graduating as a Army soldier boot camp, you graduating as an airman, you graduating as a Navy shipman, you graduated as a United States Marine. These are things, experiences that you remember, you graduate. And that's what these company trips allow us to do. Of all the guys and the gals in a company that we set the standard to get qualified for the trip, the top 20, top 30, top 40, top 50 got qualified. And here's what you do too as well. In the qualification period, to set some excitement and see who's going to really qualify for the contest, do a two-week bump. So to even qualify for this company contest, company trip, next 2 weeks was going to determine who's going to be budgeted for it. Gives you an idea for your company what you need a budget for, because you might be for 100 people, it might be for 200 people, or based on a criteria set up for a 2-week initiation phase at a contest, you're going to find out who's going to qualify or not, which allow you to gauge. And then you're going to create FOMO. Hey, Tom, Dick, and Harry qualified for our company trip to Mexico. Man, I can't wait for you to complete the rest of the contest so you can really, really go. But the rest of y'all, since you didn't work the first 2 weeks, you're not even qualified for the company contest. That's been very effective for us, just FYI. Third thing, types of setting and raising standards is having mentorship and leadership development opportunities. And again, sales guys, you got to run for it. So it's more than just people making phone calls or making contacts or making sales. There's an excitement, there's a compensation package outside of just a commission check that they get from you. It's more than just a commission check, more than just a bonus they get from you. It's who they're becoming under your leadership, that they're following you because you gave them a job, but they're following you because not what you are showing them what to do because you're a sales leader. Like, you're showing me the ropes and you show me the skills, you're showing me the insurance industry, you show me the real estate industry, you show me the solar industry. But guys and gals are sticking with you because you're starting to change your life, people development style. And more importantly, they're following you because of who and what you stand for. And when you take guys on a mentorship and leadership type of retreat, you can really build some long-term relationships for guys that are willing to go through a wall for you. They come back from the trip, not only deep down inside a person significantly different from everybody within inside the company, they got that recognition for that. But how they feel about this company that you're building, how they feel about the relationship with you, it's to another level. And that's what I love about being a sales leader. That's what I love about being a CEO. That's what I love about building a business, because It's not just the products and services that we sell, although that's important. The revenue that we create, of course, that's very important. But it's who we become in the process that is the exciting point. I've seen guys in our company, when we met them 9, 10 years ago, they just got newly married. And then 9, 10 years later, a lot of them have 2, 3, 4, 5 kids now. And by the way, the overwhelming gender within inside our company is boys. A lot of guys in our company are having boys. I don't know why, what's going on with our company, but majority of the guys and gals within inside our company getting married and having kids and living the life of their dreams because they're in the sales industry. Boys, I don't know what it is. Maybe it's because we're jacked up and a lot of testosterone when in the sales industry and you end up making more boys. Who knows? I don't know. It's not a scientist. It's a guess. So if you're watching this, by the way, I have another 5 tips. If you want to see the other 5, please, next 5, put it in the comment section below. But some of you said, you know what, Matt, I really could use some help. I need some help in running my business. I can really use a system to recruit, train, develop agents. I can use a process and how to attract the right people to my organization. I need to work on my own personal leadership, develop myself. If you need help in that area, please, we'll put a link here at the bottom where you can reach out and connect with us. And we'll set up a time where we can have a conversation and we'll go from there. But what was your thoughts? What's your thoughts here on any Untold? If you're out there, you're building a business, building a sales team, any feedback, anything you'd like to contribute, please put it in the comment section below. That being said, guys, if you haven't done so, make sure you subscribe and like our channel and make sure you put your biggest takeaway from this. You agree with us? You don't agree with us? I appreciate your feedback. With that being said, guys, till we meet again, continue to live smart, continue to love smart, and be money smart today. God bless you. Bye-bye.